So tonight we are going to start you off with, this is the third part of Veterans Stand, Respond, and Beyond. And I want to start off by going back to the Veterans Respond picture that we started off with. Remember that Veterans Respond picture that had everybody in it, and it had Ed Higgins, and
yes,
that's our first picture that we're starting with today.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Veterans Respond. The Veterans Respond picture.
To find out it's not in the right order.
So this is the where we began the last, or where we ended on the last show, if you'll recall. You'll recall, there, right there. Veterans Respond.
This one.
Yeah. So remember, this is put on the Ed December 10 pic. This is a picture that, oh God, Ed Higgins is. Can you take Kathleen Bennett off of there?
Yeah, I can. Let me find that.
There she is.
Kathleen Bennett is not in this picture.
No, that was weird, honey. Okay, so anyway, that's Ed Higgins in the same picture. Now, this is a picture from December 10 that Ed Higgins posted.
Mm-hmm.
December 10, that's just days after the veterans came with Veterans Stand for Standing Rock.
Mm-hmm. Like
literally days, like a week after. And that's when he posted the picture. Obviously, that's not when the picture was taken, because
exactly.
if you'll recall, Tulsi Gabbard was there during that time that the veterans arrived, which was like on the 4th, I believe. Right?
Right.
So this picture was taken a long, long time prior to December 10th. And it became the picture that's used on the Facebook page for Veterans Stand, Veterans Respond.
Yep.
So here's that same picture transformed into the Veterans Respond group. If people are a little confused about who's in charge of what group and who's in the leadership of what and what did they belong to first, were they in the Veterans Stand for Standing Rock, were they in the Veterans Respond, are they in the Veterans Service Corps, join the club.
Exactly.
Because there hasn't been a lot of clarity about who's where and what. And that's why it's confusing. I would say almost purposefully so. Because if you want to make very clear what's going on, you can be more transparent. You can let people know who's what and what, right? Okay. So, then I want you to go back to the building, the building that was burned, and the video.
Okay.
That Ed put out. Do you remember that? Ed had a video that he did. Go ahead.
All right, guys, Ed Higgins here, live on Hollywood Boulevard. Is that where we're at? Yeah. I never know where I'm at. Okay, so we're going to talk about this HQ. So our HQ is on fire. It's controlled demolition. It's due to intelligence that was on the walls. No need to worry. Everybody is okay at Ochedi Shakawi. The HQ is actually at the end of Flag Road to the left. There's actually a barracks still next to it. That is okay. They're actually going to take that apart, and they're going to move it probably to LaDonna's land. But the HQ hit my heart, but, it's got to get taken down. So that's what happened. Let everybody know. Unfortunately, Rattler took down the video, so now you can't see the update. But share this out. Let everybody know everything is okay. Nobody died, and information was decimated. In 10 seconds or less, Inspector Gadget style. Oh. All right. Love you guys. Peace.
Oh, God.
That was horrible.
Oh, my God. Ugh. That was the same day that I did the interview with Ed Higgins,
Exactly.
which he then threatened of Activate Now, of the infamous Activate Ed. I mean, Activate Now.
Deactivate now.
With Aubrey Peckham and Michael Fassig.
Yep.
You know, the guy that helped burn that building down, Michael Fassig, and Michael Marcus, the known informant, right?
Yes.
All of who were with this veteran stand for Standing Rock that were prominently featured by the veteran respond person, Brandy Paisano, in those pictures I showed y'all yesterday. And yes, indeed, that video was removed
Yes.
almost immediately. We watched it because we watched that building burn, and then immediately after that, so I did the interview with Ed, then I watched that building burn, and then moments after I saw Ed doing that video live stream explaining why the building burned. This building, incidentally, was also called OP Black. OP Black, okay? So, there are no videos except for that one that you just showed, which was the one that Michael Fassig left up.
Exactly.
But it didn't have any sound. And do you remember the other one did have sound? And people in that video were asking Marcus, why are you burning down a building in the middle of the night and getting us on the radar of the cops? What are you trying to do here? Are you trying to get us raided? Who gave you permission to burn this building? You're putting people in jeopardy. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was actually watching the video when it was happening. You were on the phone with somebody, and I said, you got to see this video. They're burning a building. And I remember it was quite a long live feed, and a gentleman came up and started talking to Michael Marcus about, you know, he could repurpose this lumber. Why is he doing this? Who gave him permission? Is he responsible to elders? He said, yeah, I got my own elders, and they've ordered this. And he says, well, why are you doing this? This is going to put all sorts of attention on us, negative attention. And he was just really, really defiant. And by the time I got to the end of the video, boom, it was gone. But Mike Fassig had come out and started filming, and his videos were up for a while, so I downloaded those. So in that piece with Ed, basically he's given a report, and I put the video of the actual burning building in the background. But, you know, some people did do some screenshots, but, you know, I haven't seen the video, because since it got taken down right away, I don't think anyone was able to actually save it.
Yeah. I don't think that they actually posted it because I believe that Olive Bias, one of the people, his Lakota wife, Michael Marcus's Lakota wife, Olive Bias, Badger, a.k.a. Badger, the person that gave false testimony against Kathleen Bennett in this case, along with Messiah, they, also the person that defended Mulaney and said she was a good person, remember in the back of that truck? I saw it with my own two eyes. That one? Right? Okay. She's directly connected to Michael Marcus of the Veteran Stand Group. You paying attention?
Oh, yeah.
His Lakota wife who defended Mulaney. And so she was one of the people that went up to him right when he was filming that. And she said, stop it. Or something like that. Like, put that down. Like, stop the live stream.
Yeah.
And he didn't post it. They just said it had ended. It never posted. So here are some screenshots that we took of that video while it was, you know, available in that moment. You can see it's going to start. It'll be available in a moment, but that never happened.
Yeah.
And he titled it, "The Roof is on Fire."
Yeah.
The roof is on fire. And here are some of the comments. So guys, remember that picture of the veterans on the bridge? Can you throw that up for us? All those proud veterans. And it's got Marcus on the bridge and the Higgins and the group. It's right there. You just went right past it. Right there. No, down. There.
Oops.
Oh, Lordy. Yeah, check this out. The proud veterans, there they are. There's Higgins all the way on the right. This is one of the pictures of Brandy Paisano, who works for Veterans Respond. Okay? These are people that are in charge of promotion and PR and HR, etc., you know?
Mm-hmm.
They're running the organization. These are the faces they want you to know and see that are associated with the kidnapping of a grandmother. Okay, and here we have the next one, Marcus on the bridge. I want you to show that one. Right there. Mm-hmm. See, that we had them in order down there. Ready to go like that.
Yep.
Here they are. Look at them. Check it out, everybody. Now pay attention. Pay attention to this picture, okay? Because I want you to see somebody that you haven't looked at before. Right next to Michael Marcus, who is the second person from the left. The third, if you count the half a person that's there all the way to the left. Because there's like a guy in a gray jumper or something, and then there's a guy in light green camo, and then Michael Marcus is in the darker brown camo. And then next to him is an elder holding a staff. Okay, now between Marcus and the elder holding a staff, there's a guy behind him wearing a face mask and a stripy hat. It looks like a Giants hat, maybe. I don't know. I don't know baseball, football, whatever. Behind that dude is a guy wearing a cowboy hat. You see that guy with the black cowboy hat and the little goatee? That is Regis Furland. We're going to see him later, everybody. We're going to see him later in the show. Just remember I pointed it out, okay? All right, now let's go back to the comments about the roof on fire. This man, Michael Marcus, one of the guys that came with the Veterans Stand, is out there burning buildings. Proudly so, in the middle of the night, putting people in jeopardy, because that's what the veterans do. That's what the veterans went there to do, to put people in danger. And it says, I see the fire department has arrived.
Huh.
And D. Rager Mason says, that's BS. Next, number 2. D. Rager Mason says, too many people want to tell others what to do. Laura Rednauer says, Mater, stop it now and delete it. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Somebody else didn't like these shenanigans. Amy Allen says, enjoy the fun, delete the evidence, stay safe. Yeah. Criminals know that when they be criming, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. So let's go now to, okay. No. I want to go to something else.
All right.
I want to jump ahead to the article from the Bismarck Tribune. This is an article in the Bismarck Tribune which is about Michael Marcus. This is posted January 25th. Just so we're clear who Michael Marcus is. And it says that a pipeline protester known as Rattler, that is what his name was at the camps, he was called Rattler, was charged in federal court with setting fires to block law enforcement from moving people out of the northern frontline camps on October 27th. And Marcus is accused of pouring gasoline on barricades made of logs, fallen trees, and tires at the County Road 134 bridge, according to a complaint signed by alcohol, tobacco, and firearms agent Derek Hill. So this is one of the stories that Marcus has been involved in. The other, of course, is the story of Kathleen Bennett.
Yes.
Because of his involvement in that security team and his Lakota wife, Olive Bias, a.k.a. Badger, as well as the other people in Activate Now, like Michael Fassig, right? And Ed Higgins. All of whom told us, by the way, because Higgins said he was there. He said it on our first show in the comments.
Yes.
When we were talking about the conditions in which she was supposedly brought out of her Tarpey and taken to the casino to be evacuated. And he said, she was not in those conditions. I was there, you know? Next, we are going to go to the Veterans Respond picture once again. I want to show you who else is in this picture. And that's the one that has all of the veterans in it from Veterans Respond.
Okay.
There you go. It's right there.
There we go.
And, you know, it's cut off, so you can't see Ed Higgins over there. But he was part of the picture at one point, as you know. And the rest of the people there are Evan Duke, which is all the way up at the top there. Next to him is Tulsi Gabbard. And next to her, on below the bear, at the very bottom of the picture, is Jesse Ilnicki. I don't know who the guy is behind him, directly behind him, but next to them is Mark Sanderson, who has a red vest on. You can't tell from this picture because of the filter. And next to him is a guy named Joseph George. And then in front of them is Brady Paisano, the lady that took the pictures that we've seen in the last two shows of the veterans with Veterans Respond and also with Veterans Stand. Next, I want to show you some comments that we had from Mr. Joseph George.
Joseph George.
Joe 1, 2.
Okay.
You have those? There you go. I see him now.
There's Joe.
Joe 1.
I was wondering where Joe was.
There's Joe.
Joe 1.
So this is what Joseph George said. Cindy Azucena Gomez-Schempp. Sadly, this has all gotten pretty silly. Not the aftermath of what happened to people at Standing Rock. That is still very tragic. However, the attempts of people to try and piece together the truth of how Veterans Respond formed, how Veterans Stand changed from Wes Clark and Mike Woods to just Mike Woods, and then to Veterans Stand being run by Sadef and Chris, is quite ridiculous. The assumptions and accusations are obscene, even by Wes. You do realize that there were multiple organizations there as well as people who loosely were affiliated with them. There isn't some grand conspiracy other than Mike Woods using money from a GoFundMe to start a PAC. I wish you the best in trying to raise funds for Kathleen Bennett. But again, you're way off on your conclusions about Veterans Respond. Feel free to contact me. Sincerely, Bearded Guy number 2. Thanks, Bearded Guy number 2. Now, I want to go back over what he said. I don't think that the confusion that is trying to piece together, and I think I've done a better job than most, because I actually talked to Michael Wood Jr. and got his take on why they split up.
Yeah.
And I also talked to Wes, and I got his take. And they're the two people that were involved in the breakup of that group, of that call out, right? So I guess I thought that having talked to both of them and L'Oreal Blackshaw, their national spokesperson, and also Ed Higgins, and let's see, who else has talked about this? Oh, Bill Renning-Fisher.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of other people. I mean, if you go back and listen to my interviews, Joseph, I don't know. I haven't seen you on my show before. Before I started talking about the veteran stuff, I hadn't really seen you here. So maybe you haven't seen all of the shows in which I have talked to people about what happened. I think, however, the greater question here is whether or not people have a right to know what happened. I would say the answer to that is yes. People have a right to know because they gave their money to people, veterans who were coming out with Michael Wood Jr. and Wes. And we know now Wes never had any contact with the money, control of the money, nor not when he was with the group, not after he was with the group, at any time during the group, never. And Michael Wood Jr. has said as much. So the person that made a call out on TYT for money was Michael A. Wood Jr., and he controlled that money from the get-go. And he controlled and decided what went on. Even though he said there was really no hierarchy of command, he still made it very clear there was a hierarchy of command because he didn't authorize this. And he did not authorize that. He told me. So, you just can't have it both ways. It doesn't work that way. You can't have your cake and eat it too. This man took money from a lot of people for a particular thing he said he was going to do. Then he went there. They didn't do anything that was listed on Wesley Clark's thing they were going to do with the operations thing.
Yeah.
I don't know military talk. I'm sorry. But they didn't do any of that stuff. Wes went out and he did what he could. What he promised that he would do, he tried to do it. He tried to keep his word. But he was not allowed to do a lot of those things, and even the things that he did do, like the forgiveness ceremony, were not well received by people like Michael A. Wood Jr. You would think he would appreciate the magnitude of what that forgiveness ceremony stood to people all over this country, especially indigenous people, what it meant to us. But nope, didn't want to take credit for that. He was mortified that Wes did that. It was like one of the major amazing things that the veterans did do, that somebody did do out there. But that's not something that Michael wanted to take credit for. Instead, he preferred to take credit for the fact that he did leave L'Oreal in charge when he left. Of what? That's disputed. But the fact remains, he was paying her. The fact remains, money exchanged hands, and there was a title conferred upon her by Michael A. Wood Jr. at the camp and publicly as a national spokesperson and the sergeant major in charge. Okay? So call it what you will, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
And whose fault is it that we're all out here trying to figure out what happened and who took command and then who became responsible for Veterans Stand or the Veterans Respond, or whose fault is that? Whose fault is it that there's people that were part of the first organization that we here at KPPP started to look into, started to direct our spotlight on and call out for their criminal activity against an innocent Oglala Lakota elder and her mother and her son? That these people decided they were going to not work together, turn into a new group, rebrand, whatever you want to call it. It may seem preposterous to you and silly and all of these ridiculous, call me what you will. But whose fault is it that I am left to speculate? Because y'all didn't do a very good job of explaining or being transparent about who you're with and what you are and who you're part of, because you got people that are part of your group that were still part of these criminal elements over here. That's not me. That's on y'all. I didn't do that. Okay. So let me just say, and then the accusations by Wes are obscene? What accusations? He was just telling you what happened to him. And by all accounts, he was taken out there, lied to, threatened, told that he was about to be killed. He needed to get out, get out, get out. And he was being told, stop snooping, stop asking questions, stop going into the camp, don't talk to the press, don't go on the bridge, don't do the forgiveness ceremony, stay in your room, go to sleep, go over there, do this, you're going to get killed, get the hell out of here. And then, once you ran him out of there, y'all threw him under the bus.
Exactly.
Once he got out of there, he was drugged, insane, delusional, hadn't slept enough, under too much stress, found God, y'all wanted to say everything was wrong with him. Something was wrong with him because he couldn't have been lucid. He couldn't have been actually telling you what you all put him through, right? That's gaslighting, folks.
Yep.
That's gaslighting 101. So for you to say that to Wes, kind of effed up. Especially since y'all are talking about how, oh, the veterans and their PTSD and blah, blah, blah. Is that how you do each other? Is it? And then he says, you do realize there were multiple organizations that were there that were all loosely affiliated. Wow, that sounds a lot like Michael Wood Jr.
Yeah.
I don't take responsibility for anything. I didn't do anything wrong. I had nothing to do with this. Sounds like the colonizers who said, I didn't own any slaves. I didn't have anything to do with racism. Hey, guess what? It's called taking responsibility. It's adulting. Taking responsibility. You know what Wes Clark did when we called him, even though he had been kicked out of the group, had never had any access to the money, didn't know how the command had been set up after he left? He did everything in his power to tell the truth and to find out more information and to use his voice to tell people what happened to him, to the veterans that remained there, to the Veterans Stand thing that he was part of, and to Kathleen Bennett. That is an appropriate emotional response. That's what somebody does when they want to take responsibility for caring for another person. Like, you know, like the mission of the veterans that went out there, healing through service. Why even go out there if you're going to say, we're not responsible for any of the people out there? Then why the hell did you go out there in the first place?
Exactly.
Weren't you supposed to be going out there to protect civilians from oppression, especially indigenous ones? Wasn't that the whole mission of this, the whole idea behind this? Which is it? Cake? No cake. You can't have both. Okay. So the loose affiliation thing, please get out of here with your loose affiliations, okay? He said that this isn't some grand conspiracy. No? Was no tiger swan out there then? Are we all crazy again?
Yep.
Oh no. I wish that you all would take the time, just sincerely, I'm begging you, take the time to look at the evidence we've gathered for the last 6 months before you draw any conclusions about what we're talking about here. Because it seems to me like you just entered this conversation. And if you truly care about water protectors and veterans and all of that stuff, then you should go back to the beginning and figure out what some of the most prominently featured veterans in your original groups, including Michael A. Wood Jr., did to and for this family. And then we can have a conversation on equal footing, okay?
Exactly.
Bearded guy number 2. Moving on, number 2. Matthew Roby says, Joseph George on the right, and Joseph George says, how dare you blow my deep cover, lol. And then Matthew Roby says, blown. Number 3. Wes says, beardy guy in red vest is Mark Sanderson, the guy who said, I was about to be murdered at Camps Southgate just after dark on December 4th. And Joseph George says, I believe you're embellishing. Way to call him a liar.
Yep.
Way to gaslight him. By the way, Joseph, were you there? Were you there? Then how do you know? How can you immediately say to a person about an experience where someone threatened their effing life that they're embellishing when you weren't there? How do you do that, brother? If any threats made towards you, your well-being was implied, It was for your own safety. How do you know?
Yeah, really.
Do you know the secrets of the universe, Joseph George? We volunteered time from our own lives. So did everybody. So did everyone. Do you want a cookie? Seriously, every time I hear that, I'm just tired of hearing it because all of these false people that came out there and gave statements against Kathleen, they have this like dog and pony show. I gave up everything in the world. Really? Because nobody asked you to do that. And in fact, you were asked to come out there self-sufficient and able-bodied. Right?
Yep.
So we volunteered time from our own lives to help and to do our best to ensure the safety of those standing there for their rights, as well as the veterans arriving at the request of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. Perhaps I am taking your comments out of context, but it is very disheartening to perceive it as Mark being a threat to you. Well, that's exactly how it came off. There was a bunch of people telling Wes, you can't do this, you can't go here, you can't go there, don't go over there, get out of here, get out of town, you need to leave, you're going to be killed, you're going to be killed. Yeah, take it, if the shoe fits, as they say, wear it.
Exactly.
That's what was happening to him. And he says, I don't want any recognition from Standing Rock. I've got enough gratification from the work I've done since then and continue to do. Okay, good for you. But I truly mean it when I say that about you. When I say that you, but I truly mean it when I say that you, Mike Woods, and any of the other originally involved with Veteran Stand have no clue the work we did or the mess we helped to quell before and after the easement was denied. I have no doubt, Joseph, because they left.
Yeah.
But Sadef might know a little bit of something about it because she went back and she was part of that group. And so were a lot of the other veterans that remained. So I would guess that it got back to them.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that they were made aware by a variety of different sources, even though you're all supposed to be loosely affiliated so nobody knows anything. And isn't that purposely done? I mean, it feels like it's purposely done. That way nobody has any ties to anyone. Nobody has to take any responsibility for anything. Wes says, Joseph George merely stating the fact of what happened at that back gate December 4th. And Wes Clark says, again, there isn't a soul on earth who will be able to convince me that I did not see what I saw or that I did not hear what I heard. Not being gaslit.
Yeah.
Hashtag not being gaslit. Hashtag not today, Satan. And Joseph says back to Wes, I'm not trying to convince you or anyone that you didn't hear what you heard. Kind of feels like you are.
Yeah.
I know the whole hostile climate that lurked in the shadows of Oceti during that time very well, and I've no doubt you felt your safety was in question. He was being told.
Yes.
He wasn't imagining it. Why are you acting it like he conjured it from thin air? People came and told him that they were going to shoot at him, that he was going to be killed. There are other witnesses. Okay? Jeez. I didn't even see personally. Oh, you didn't? You didn't even see personally? I didn't even see personally on the camp until I walked to see you sitting on the bed talking with Mark a day before the easement. So I wasn't there. Well, then, why are you gaslighting this man about his own experience when you weren't there? You had with Mark took place on December 4th. As I said before, maybe I took your comment out of context. No, maybe you're trying to change his perception.
Yeah.
And as he told you, there isn't a soul on earth that's going to make him believe something else than what he experienced. As I said before, maybe I took your blah, blah. All I'm saying is that this speculation that the formation of Veterans Respond and its founding members arose from anything else, anything less than honor and a desire to help is ridiculous. Well, let me tell you something. I cannot see into the soul of man, but I can see the outcomes. And the outcomes are burning buildings. The outcomes are a bunch of different things that led to the innocent woman, Kathleen Bennett, being put in jail for the last 6 months and her mother nearly being killed. So I don't care what your intentions were. I don't care about anybody's intentions. The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Exactly.
And you know what? It doesn't matter what you wanted or what you intended or if your heart was filled with the right emotions. If you ended up hurting people and associating with criminals, then that's what happened. And that's who represents you. And if you don't like that, then you should fix it and clean it up, not gaslight the people pointing it out. If anything, he says, I was one of the first people to defend you. Well, maybe you should have started with that instead of gaslighting him to start the whole thing. Like 2 paragraphs later, after gaslighting him and telling him he's hysterical, crazy, he's like, I was the first one to defend you back in the day. I never heard him defend him. Let's see. Where's the Money Wes hashtag started? Where's the Money Wes? My Facebook got shut down because I called out Mike Woods after seeing the text messages between him and Lori Owl. Oh no. He was in Facebook jail. Because of this. You know what though? There was an actual jail and an actual woman, an Oglala Lakota elder who was there for 6 months. Not in Facebook jail, but in a real jail. So, yeah. Someone reported my page because my post was going viral. And I was making false accusations, in quotes. These 2 days, then 2 days later, Mike releases his manifesto. This is Michael A. Wood Jr. saying exactly what I said. So when I read a quote from you saying how no one knows the story of what happened better than Cindy Gomez, I find it very puzzling, especially when I've respected your work.
Where?
I've done so much for you.
Yep, I've heard that before.
I have done so much for you people. I did so much at the camp. And you're going to give an indigenous woman on a radio station credit for knowing more than me, a white veteran? What? Oh my God. This guy is pea green with envy. Wesley, you got to change avatar. Like, Wesley's thing is like that neon thing from his sword. I don't know what those things are. I don't watch Star Wars or whatever it is. But he needs that filter. George needs the filter because he's jelly.
Exactly.
Why are you so jelly? Now you suddenly care what Wesley says so much. A minute ago, a couple paragraphs ago, you were saying that he was a liar. You were basically calling him a liar about his own experience, which you were not there for, which you admitted in paragraphs later. All right. Then he says, he used to respect you for your work, Wes. Wah, wah, wah. Yep. You lost another fan. Damn it. Oh, that's what happens when you tell the truth. You lose all these fans of the lies. He respected his work in the reporting that he did on the Young Turks. It's not for me to judge where this woman's heart is. See, I told you. You don't need to judge hearts. Look at actions.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the actions. I'm looking at the actions of Veterans Respond, Veterans Beyond, Veterans Corps, Veterans Stand for Standing Rock. What I saw is that the leaders of that group, L'Oreal Blackshaw, Bill Runningfisher, and others on the security team, endangered the lives of people, pushed people out of the camp forcibly, took an Oglala Lakota elder and put her in a hospital and left her there to die. And that they took an innocent woman, framed her, and left her in a jail to rot, and she's now facing 20 years. Good job. That's what your veterans were doing out there. That's what they did. You know what I've been doing? I've been helping her get a lawyer. I helped get her mother out of that hospital, along with the people that actually have been paying attention to this show for the last 6 months. People that stepped forward and put their lives and their stories on the line to bring truth to this case. Real Americans that cared about Lakota people. Mm-hmm. Real people that stood with the water. You know, the people that came out there with that intent. There are some people that have been carrying out that intent for the last 6 months in the case of Kathleen Bennett. But this is ridiculous to me. It's not for you to judge where my heart is. That's right. It's not. We don't have to judge hearts. We can judge actions. And my actions speak for me. This radio station's work and the journalism we've done speaks for itself. The evidence is all there for you to go look at. Maybe you need to take a look at before you try to gaslight me as well. And remember, you're not just trying to kill the messenger. You're trying to kill the message. And the message here is that there's a bunch of people whose hands are dirty that had something to do with putting an innocent woman in jail and nearly killing her mother. Mm-hmm. And the pain of what you did to her is very real. It is very traumatic. It hasn't gone away. This family is still separated. And somebody needs to be held accountable for that. People need to take responsibility to the degree that they can. And it shouldn't have to be people like Wes Clark doing all the heavy lifting. Mm-hmm. You know, the rest of you guys, maybe you could pitch in. Wes says back to him, Joseph George, I don't remember meeting you, but if you were part of OP Black, they're talking about the building that was burned, guys. Mm-hmm. I don't trust a word you say.
Wow.
Whoa.
Bam.
Okay, now moving on, let me get to some other clarity that we need to bring to this situation.
Oh, yeah.
Brunch with Kingfisher. Brunch 1. So I made some mistakes in the last show, and I need to correct them. The guy next to Myron Dewey in the black and yellow hat is not Evan Duke. I misspoke. That guy is James Dargan or Tim Dargan, I believe. If I am incorrect, please correct me. He's the guy with the band Exit.
Okay.
He's the one that does all those videos.
All right.
Okay. That guy, I called him Evan Duke. I made a mistake. But thank you for helping me correct my mistakes, and I will do so publicly whenever I make them. Ed Higgins is on your left. Myron Dewey is on your right. But wait, guys. All the way at the back there on the left side with Ed Higgins and Mr. Raymond Kingfisher, who's standing right behind him, is all the way at the very back there is a woman who is with the Women's Indigenous Media. Remember her. Here's picture number 2. You'll see her here again. Oh, there she is, everybody, in the blue shirt right in the front there. This is the picture of Ed Higgins and LaDonna and Armando Tellez and all Mona and all these people from Women's Indigenous Media hanging out right before they all go off to Hawaii with Mama LaDonna. And then we have another picture here where you have Ed Higgins of Activate Now with LaDonna. Once again, here, this is a picture from Hawaii. And the woman in the background, there she is. She is Tina Pugliese. Tina Pugliese with Women Indigenous Media. So, the reason I am showing you these pictures, somebody posted a comment on their show and said, why are we being shown all these pictures?
Yeah.
Does this mean people just eat together?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I just showed you the pictures, and the people that either pointedly ignored this case and they knew about it for months and refused to say anything, or that were in the media or that were directly involved that said they were witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
They knew something about this, or they gave false statements against Kathleen Bennett. They were all hanging out together. And my question to you is, seeing them hanging out together over and over again, being each other's friends, traveling together, going on speaking tours, you don't think that they talked about one of the most heinous alleged crimes to come out of Standing Rock that they were all involved with? Never once. They couldn't stop saying Free Red Fawn.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't stop saying Free Red Fawn everywhere they went, but they could never say Free Kathleen Bennett. And it wasn't because they innocently got involved in it. No. At a certain point, when you've been told over and over and over again that you're involved, that other people are involved, that the people that you know are involved, that the people that you're hanging out with are involved, that the people that you're working with have given statements, that you gave a statement, that there's a statement of yours in, and you keep trying to ignore it, deny it, lie about it, or direct people to listen to other things and start calling us names because of our reporting, then you're showing your guilt. You're showing your complicity. And that's what I'm trying to point out here. So let's be very clear. I'm not just showing you a bunch of people eating together. Let's go to the next picture. I forgot in the last time I showed this to you to point out these other people. So in the very front again, on the left side, we have Raymond Kingfisher. And then you'll see there in the circle is Vanessa Boland.
Oh, yeah.
One of the people that gave a false statement against Kathleen Bennett. And I believe all the way at the back is Dallas Goldtooth. Somebody told me that was Dallas Goldtooth. I'm not for certain, but I believe it is. Then on the right-hand side, we see Christina Hollenbeck. These are two of the people that are directly involved in putting Kathleen Bennett in jail and nearly killing her mom. Mm-hmm. They're directly responsible for that. And they have done nothing to clarify, to fix it. They're running around telling you that they are here to help people. Vanessa Boland went out to Standing Rock to save lives. She went out to Standing Rock to help people. She went out to Standing Rock to protect women and elders and children, vulnerable people, from harm. But when we told her repeatedly through a variety of people that what she did put an innocent woman in jail and was nearly killing another woman, she said, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to get involved. That's how much she cared. But don't worry, everyone. She's going to be in a movie. Because she's a real heroine.
Mm-hmm.
Next, I want you to look at this other picture. And here they are together again. If you go back to the last picture, you'll see that Linda Black Elk, Juanita Locke, and this Paula Antonio in that black shirt with the pastel shaded scarf are also in this last picture that I'm showing you here with all of them together. Now, let me tell you something else about Paula Antonio that I've learned since our last show. Paula Antonio is out at the Wolves Den.
Oh,
The Wolves Den with all those wolves out there in Flint, Michigan with Chelsea Lions and Ernesto and their puppets.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a traveling circus over there. She's out there, and so is Menape. And she's been working very closely with Menape. And she's part of the Chikangu Lakota tribe, I believe, that Mulaney is part of, too. So interesting connections there, because that would mean that this woman is also closely affiliated to a person an ex-meth dealer, felon. I don't know how he got a gig as a headman over at the camp.
Mhm.
Security must be pretty lax out there. But he did. Menape Lemaire, George Lemaire, got a job out there as a headsman. He was brought in by Dallas Goldtooth and of the Indigenous Environmental Network. And guess what, folks? He's the one that said that he and Louis Grassrope were responsible for throwing this family out and having Kathleen arrested. He repeated the same lies that Bill Running Fisher told you, which we have proven conclusively, even by the admission of Kathleen Bennett. Coming up in another show, I'm going to show you, Bill Running Fisher has now asked whether or not anyone has dropped the charges on Kathleen Bennett and said they should.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's the two people.
Yeah, that's, this is the guy who is the key witness that was in the newspapers that, started the story on this whole thing. And he's thinking that her charges should be dropped right now? What's going on?
Mulaney too.
Yes.
Both of them, the main accusers of her, have now said, why is she still in jail? They should have dropped them charges by now.
Mm-hmm.
They're like sporting Kathleen Bennett shirts and stuff.
Well,
and y'all are still supporting these false charges.
Yep, and remember that the story was propaganda. It was a piece of propaganda.
Paid for by Tiger Swan.
Paid for by Tiger Swan. It was a hit piece that was put in the Bismarck Tribune that was supposed to discredit water protectors. It served its purpose. So why is that woman still in jail? It served its purpose. Well, she's out of jail, but she's still facing up to 20 years in prison.
Yep. Okay, now I'm going to take you, Christina Hollenbach. Don't forget, stick here. Because remember who Christina is.
Oh, yeah.
She's the one that gathered all those records.
Yep.
She was like the mastermind up here working.
Mm-hmm. Her name's on everything.
Oh, yeah. She's sending stuff directly to the cops. Remember I told you she arrived in camp the day before the 20th, and on the 21st, she's talking to the media, and she's a medic.
Yep, she's a hero.
Just like Mulaney.
Yep.
RT Television. Well, here is who she was connected to at the camp. Don't forget, Christina was with Grizzly. Yep. This was her family. These were her people. She was in a relationship with Grizzly. Okay? Christina Hollenbach.
Mm-hmm.
And then, let me show you once again the messages from Christina Hollenbach to Wes when she arrived at the camp. When she first contacted him. And he says, no, I told him to change first sentence. And then she says, call JR, Command Post 259, an elder who is the lead on the vets on camp. Tell him I gave you his number per his request. You'll have a very short amount of time to chat with him, so just give him the top line brief of the op. Say I'm your point person, and offer me of service to him. Look at her, wiggle her way, and I can talk with him.
Oops, I'm sorry.
More about it. Oops, you can go to the next one. You're good. In the AM when we are to meet, then then introduce me to Robbie and Phyllis Young to run point and connect with them tonight or the AM and Tulsi's people or whomever else you like. And Wes says, sure, what's JR's number? And we took it out. And then she says, I talked with Rachel and we have a Nexus member. This Nexus thing is for the top 0.001% of all the richest people of forever. Okay? I'm just giving you a synopsis.
Yeah.
And Christina Pink Hair Hollenbach is part of this exclusive club of Richie Richington.
Yep.
And here is what she says. She says they can get... can you scroll up on that? Or does it not scroll up?
Oh, that's it.
Oh, well, I can tell you what the next thing was. It said that they can get politicians and senators.
Ah.
Okay?
Yep.
So that was the last of the sentence. Now, I want you to go back to that RT video and show people
we were literally just pulling people off the front line. So literally you just from out of the smoke, you would just hear somebody say medic transport, and you just go in and they would just pile people in the back of your truck. There's already ice outside the water, so it's already freezing water, and spraying it onto the protesters in under, it's like about 21 degrees last night. So we had massive amounts of hypothermia. They were tear gassing, macing, as well as rubber bullets. When they pulled out the tear gas, a number of the canisters hit people. So we were dealing with projectiles. I mean, the rubber bullets were hitting people in their head, were hitting people in their legs. One elder that I was taking back and forth had gotten hit in the chest with a projectile.
So,
we were literally just...
so she got out there right away, and she got on television immediately.
Yep.
And this is a recent post of hers. I think this is hilarious. Christina, with the many looks. She's like a chameleon.
Mm-hmm.
Christina says, this was today, I believe, with absolutely no shade to others. I honestly thought I wasn't really triggered by fireworks like my other Ochetti brothers and sisters, because growing up in the hood...
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't even read this with a straight face.
Uh-huh.
She grew up in the hood?
Yep, I guess.
Ooh. In the barrio, girl?
Oh, yeah.
Did you grow up in the barrio, chica? Okay. I've always been skittish of loud noises and assume it's bullets. Right? Because she grew up in a place where there was bullets getting fired.
Yeah, yeah.
Hands up, don't shoot. You associate with that.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'm naive about what I'm going through because I've never had anxiety like this. Or maybe I've coped with anxiety like this and never knew. Only thing I know is I'm not arrogant enough to think I know.
All right.
You showed up for a photo op,
Mm-hmm.
Christina, and then you went on the world tour, and now you're claiming PTSD like it's bell bottoms.
Yeah.
Okay? What happened out there is not something for you to joke about, for you to make fun of, for you to mock. And it's not the latest fad. You can't put it on like dreadlocks or, just stop. Stop with this appropriation. Stop with it. The appropriation of suffering. It's so gross.
Mm-hmm.
This white, rich, entitled woman, and she's like, the suffering I done did.
Mm-hmm.
She kills me. Okay, so let me show you who else is associated with this. This is Lacey. We're going to start all the way at the bottom. Nope. Start all the way at the bottom.
All right.
Number on Lacey. And this is who I'm going to show you is associated also with Christine and Grizzly. And that group, the people that took Kathleen Bennett
Mm-hmm.
and her mom, forcibly removed them to camp, while Bill Running Fisher imitated, what is it called? Impersonated,
Yes.
impersonated a U.S. Marshal and assaulted Kathleen, while Christina Hollenbeck and Mulaney committed a crime by interrupting a 911 call being made by Kathleen Bennett, to ask for help, and lied to her, trying to get her to stop making the 911 call, telling her they had already called the police. That would be Lacey Williams. Now, the reason why that's not the name you see on her Facebook page is that, like her mom,
Mm-hmm.
she has many different Facebook profiles and names.
Okay.
She probably spells her name all sorts of different ways
Mm-hmm.
and says it all sorts of different ways. So, like Maloney, Phony,
Mm-hmm.
Maloney.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what her real name is because they change it.
Yes.
And this young lady, if you look on her Facebook page, if you look up this Evelina Maylin Grace Redest, in the link at the top, it says Lacey.
I
So
see.
you can see it says her real name is Lacey, but this is her header. Her name is Lacey Williams, and she is Dun, dun, dun.
Mm-hmm.
Mulaney's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
She is the daughter of Mulaney, which, if you've been watching from the very beginning, she was talking about how her daughter was out there on the front lines. And she was there when they were shooting with battalions at her children, her son, and her daughter. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Here's another picture from her Facebook page. This is Lacey, y'all. Oh, she's so gangster.
Yeah.
Yep. And here we have, and look at the dates, guys. That's February 21. This is right after camp's closed.
Mm-hmm.
She's kissing again. And then here's a hoodie that she got from camp. Now look at what there was the comments that went along with this, okay? This was December 27th. And she was near Williston.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Mama lives.
Yep.
Hashtag AIM. Hashtag Skoden. Skoden is the name of Bill Fisher. With Mike Fassig's son.
Oh, okay.
Skoden. That's what they call him. In addition to his name, which is, what was it? Bassig, something. Thompson.
Yeah.
Thompson. Something. Ricky Thompson.
There we go. Ricky Thompson.
Came back to me. Go back and watch the show on that. That's in Real Idiot somewhere. You'll have to go back and watch that. Where I talk about it. I'll give you a little refresher on the show, but it says, love the sweater, sis. And she says, thanks, brother. And someone says, dude, where do you find all this dope shiz? Lol. And she says, got it from just being at camp since the beginning. People gifted them to me for being security. Confirmation. All right, next. And here she is on December 26th, posted from Williston. Lamau got called that warrior chick. And someone says, shiz, 'cause that's all I knew you as at first, haha. And then it says, couldn't let you show me up neither, haha. And she goes, Lacey says, lol, front lines was too intense to remember my name. Joking, by the way, I did show you up, ha. Couldn't keep up. And Chance says, haha, shiz, I've been shot, so plus I went straight to the front, haha. You kept back and pretended to be a medic, haha. It sounds like her mom.
Yeah, really.
Maybe she was standing over with her pretend medic mom, pretending to be a medic. And then she says, gotta hold it down in front and help my peoples at the same damn time, haha. I looked back and heard, medic! And then Chance says, haha, I was getting shot, haha. What the hell is so funny about this?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you tell me what is so effing funny about
No.
getting shot and water cannon?
No, not at all.
Haha. And hey, I was your hero, remember? I protected you while they sprayed us. Haha. I was your shield. Haha. I covered you. Haha.
Yeah.
Just like taking the bullet for you. Ha ha ha.
Wow.
And then she says, lol, took a rubber bullet for looks twice. Took a rubber bullet for looks twice. Looks twice is her, what is it, secret name or their
Handle.
Their handle out there. They all had these weird names. Badger, Rattler. Hers was looks twice. And her mother's was talks out of both sides of her mouth. Lol, she goes, lol, keep losing you, but every time I found you, we both had new injuries. Smile, laughing emoji, like crying, laughing emoji. And then he says, haha, was the best fun. What
Wow.
the hell is wrong with these people? Can you explain this to me?
No.
But at the same time, shiz is hurt. Haha.
Yeah.
And you're welcome, by the way. And she goes, lol, yeah, it was. Meaning it was fun.
Yeah.
The first time I came home, I had PTSD, woke up yelling, get to the bridge, Lamau, and thanks, lol. Next, please. Take me to the next thing. Okay. So then we have, this is her at Christmas time with the fam. In case you didn't know if this was really her family. Back there in the long braid, gray sweater, long sleeves, glasses. That's Mulaney, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And all the way over at the head of the table is Mama Bear Heels, Marianne Bear Heels. And next to her, with the gray hair, is Jean McGowan, Daddy McGowan. Here's another picture of Lacey at the Southgate. Southgate, she says. Hashtag Southgate. Hashtag Minnie Wichoni. Hashtag Hawaii. This is in December 24th. Were they planning on going to Hawaii way back then?
Probably.
Oh my God, these people.
It was in the brochure.
Yes, that's right. Comes with your infiltrator brochure. Next, here's one from the December 17th. And I posted every single one that she did on December 17th because that was the day they took this elder, Mary Trujillo, and her daughter, Kathleen Bennett and Russell, all to the hospital at St. Alexius. And Evelina Mullane Grace Redest, which is otherwise known as Lacey Williams, the daughter of Mulaney Stoneman, the woman that kidnapped Mary Trujillo and put her life at risk. These are all her posts. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to a Mexican Crossing Lines on 88.1 FM, KPPPLP Fargo Moorhead, where we are adding local color to your airwaves. We're also broadcasting online, so you can go to kpppfm.com and listen there on the Listen Live link. I am here with my co-host, Duke Gomez-Schempp.
Duke Gomez-Schempp, yes
Yep.
I am.
And we're talking about all of these shady people that are connected to the veterans groups that came out there and what the hell they were up to.
Yep.
Because I'm going to show you. I'm going to call this stuff out. I have a problem with what they were doing out there. They were supposed to be helping people, but they weren't. They were filling their pockets. She says, I can't trust a soul. And there's like a skull. And then Adonia says, you can trust me. I lay down my life for your sister. It's what we Akichi Washte Oyate do. Wikasa. Ikta Wikasa Oyate do. And then she says, thanks Viking. Hurry and come back to camp, haha. And I'm proud to be an Ikte Wikasa Oyate. And then she says, I'll inbox you about that. Wonder what they're talking about on the day they took that woman.
Yeah, and they called the person Viking. Another name. Another name.
Yep, there's another name. I'm going to be looking into that. Adonius Bishop. Next, here's a picture of her with Glenn Matthews Williamson. Is that Viking? I don't know. This one was taken on the 19th of December. Okay? Here's another picture she took with Mowgli. This is Eric S. Johnson, one of the people that gave a false statement against Kathleen Bennett, hanging out with Mulaney Stoneman. Oh, the horror, the shock, you know?
Yeah.
They're all hanging out together. All the people that gave statements against Kathleen Bennett. All the people that framed her. They're all hanging out. Here's another picture of Looks Twice. And there she's got these two pictures I just showed you. And she says, hashtag Looks Twice. That's her. Hashtag Dirty Clothes. Is that Mowgli, I wonder? Or maybe it's the white guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm speculating now. Okay. Next. Here's another picture she has with Mowgli in it. He's the one in the green in the front there. I don't know who those people are in the background. Also on December 19th, hashtag Camp Life with Rogue Mowgli.
Yeah.
Eric S. Johnson. That's his name. Look him up. Look up his criminal record.
Yeah.
Look up all these people's
He has a
criminal
Facebook
records.
page with his real name on it, you know.
Yeah, Eric S. Johnson. Now here's a picture of her in a video. And this is a video that she did with Mark Ruffalo. She's right there in the foreground. You can see her. And she says, Lamau, my face in the beginning. Hashtag Mark Ruffalo. And then here's a picture of her with Frances Fisher. Woo!
Wow.
I wonder if Frances Fisher and Mark Ruffalo know that they are standing next to a woman that was taking part, her and her daughter, I mean her mom and her, took part in kidnapping a woman. Because because I want to show you she was part of it.
Yep.
She was part of it. Next, and she's part of this Indigenous youth thing. There she is. They start them young. Mulaney starts her kids in young.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to join up and be part of it, part of the scam. Now, let me show you. Here is a picture she posted on her page of a person who died, I think. She put, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Crips don't die, it says. He's wearing blue. We multiply. Crips don't die, we multiply?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Yeah.
Kind of talk.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday, Flint. We all love and miss you dearly, she says. On December 17th.
Wow.
She's posting about this dead guy, a.k.a. dead guy. I don't know what his real name is. I don't know anything about him. Next. Then she posts, again, this is December 17th, and look at where she's at, everybody. She's in Bismarck. She's not at camp.
December 17th, yes.
On December 17th, she is in Bismarck. That's where St. Alexius Hospital is,
Mm-hmm.
everyone.
And that was the day that Mary was taken to St.
And
Alexis.
that is the day that she was taken.
Mm-hmm.
That's the day that Christina and Grizzly and all these other people ended up at that hospital. And she says, finally got my new name. Toka Chektia. Kills enemies at night. What's up with it?
Yeah.
Next, here is Lacey. Guess where she is, folks? I don't know who those people are in the picture with her on December 17th in Bismarck, but I do know where she's at because I had Russell look at this picture, and that is the parking lot of St. Alexius Hospital where they took his mom.
Wow.
That's where she's at, hanging out with her peeps, getting some selfies. Next, the same day she posts this, to-do list. Get this money from Bismarck. How much they paying y'all
Yeah, really.
to kidnap these people? How much did they pay you to commit these crimes against these other water protectors? I'd like to know.
Mm-hmm.
Inquiring minds want to know. Next, here's a picture she posted on the 16th. This is a day before. And look at all those people. There's Mowgli up in front. And that guy next to her, I'm pretty sure that's Regis Furland. That guy I showed you wearing the cowboy hat back when.
Oh, yeah.
Recognize his face? He looks familiar. If you recognize the other people, let me know. Now let's see this next picture. Who's this? Oh, that was at the Common Man Camp, by the way. That said, hashtag Common Man Camp, hashtag Michigan, blah, blah, blah. Oceti, Michigan Camp, Oceti Sakowin Common Man Society. Okay, Common Man Society. And there's Regis, folks. Regis Furland. Now, where have I heard that name before? Another one of the vets. Proud's veterans. And there she is. Miss Lacey Williams. Hashtag Michigan Camp. Going to miss you crazy. It's like these guys were like at summer camp or something.
Exactly. Perpetual summer.
And then next here we have Lacey hanging out with Regis, getting some dinner at the Buffalo Wild Wings. It's hot, y'all. Flamin'. They're in Bismarck?
Yep.
Is that what it says?
No. Hennevick.
Hennevick?
Hennevick.
And this is on December 2nd.
Yep.
I'm going back in time, further back in time. Here's another picture. It says Buffalo Wild Wings, see? December 2nd. Next. Look at that beanie that she's wearing. Water is life. Now, let me tell you that Sandy Jones, the first woman that called me, told me that that L'Oreal was working for the veteran stand, was getting paid $5,000 a week to do cleanup and security. And Michael Wood Jr. was paying her, and they had a Twitter war. She also told me that they were buying all this expensive equipment for their security team. Remember that?
Yep.
And she told me one of the expensive things, because she had these special beanies, these special caps that
that's
she
right.
got for all her team.
I remember that, yes.
Water is life
Okay.
beanie hats. This is L'Oreal's team. This is part of L'Oreal's team, yeah. Or she got somebody's hat. And here's another picture. Another picture with Mr. Regis Furland. at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Mhm.
Hot wings, y'all.
Yep.
Hashtag tequila sunrise. Isn't Lacey a minor?
Don't know.
Wasn't her mom freaking out about that? They had the cops go out there and all this.
Mhm.
Maybe is she 21?
Don't know.
Is she drinking? Anyway, let's go. Next, here's Regis Furland, guy in the cowboy hat I told you about, next to the elder with that staff that was standing next to Michael Marcus. Remember that guy?
Mhm.
Y'all remember him? Let's go to the next picture in case you don't remember. Here it is. There's Michael Marcus in that iconic picture that was posted by Veterans Respond. This is their own PR stuff, folks. I didn't make this up. They put this out there.
Mhm.
These are the people they associate with. Regis Furland. There he is. Next. And look, everybody. There's Grizzly.
Yeah.
And there's Mulaney's daughter. On December 17th, the day they kidnapped Mary Trujillo and took her to this hospital at St. Alexius. And guess where they're sitting? They're sitting in the cafeteria of St. Alexius Hospital. And there you have it. Stick a fork in it. It's done. I brought you back for a full circle. You saw the whole thing, okay? What's next? Now I want to show you Mulaney confirming that this Lacey Williams is indeed her daughter. Go ahead.
He has a dad named Mike Fasick, and he has a long, I don't care if you're by association, if you support Mike Fasick, you need to get off my Facebook. You need to really take a look at your friend list, because Mike Fasick was involved. He knew where my daughter was, and he never told me. He knew exactly what his son is capable of doing to women, and he didn't do anything about it. He lied to me the whole time while I was searching and crying, and I even begged him to help me. I begged him. I said, your son just said he's going to kill my daughter, and he hung up. Can you please help find my daughter? I kept telling him that over and over and over, and he denied it. So when he made that live feed, he did that, and he erased it. You guys must really put that into question, why he erased that, why he made my daughter. He threatened my daughter. Mike Fasick threatened my daughter. He's not too far behind his son Derek, and he proved that to me. He threatened my daughter. He made her do that live feed, and he erased that for the same reasons too, because he knew that was wrong for him to do. He said, you're not going to ruin my self-image, Lacey. All of your family problems and all of your issues, you're going to fix this. I didn't become Facebook famous just because so you can come and ruin this for me. So if somebody's going to protect women, and he's out there with our people as a water protector, Ed Higgins, all these people, I don't even know them, like I said, but it seems like to me like they're doing something good. But all of a sudden this issue came up when you're talking about beating a woman, when you're talking about raping a woman, holding her captive. It seems like some people can't understand that rape culture, so automatically they try to justify her actions. It shouldn't be justifying her actions. It's justifying that man's actions that did that to my daughter. And my daughter ain't gonna lie. My daughter is not. She goes by looks twice.
So you all want to believe that she doesn't know Ed Higgins or
Yeah,
Michael Fasick,
exactly.
even though her daughter was in that security team. She was there on the day that they kidnapped Mary to the hospital. She was hanging out with Grizzly. She was hanging out with Mowgli. She was hanging out with all of these people, Regis Furland, people that were with the Vets group, with Michael Marcus. But Mulaney didn't know any of those people. She didn't even know the guy that her daughter was sleeping with.
Wow.
And his dad? We're supposed to believe all of that. They seem to be doing the right thing. I don't even know those guys, Ed Higgins and Mike Bassett, but they seem to be doing the right thing until now. Well, if you didn't know them, then how would you know whether they were doing the right thing or not?
Yeah.
Why were they why was Michael Marcus's girlfriend why is activate now so involved in crimes?
Mm-hmm.
Why are all these people so involved in committing crimes? That's my question, and I have a right to ask these questions because they are all connected to each other. And this is who's out there representing you.
Exactly.
The veterans groups, the security teams that you guys put into place. And you want to attack this message and this show for exposing that? We didn't cause that dysfunctionality. That was already there. We're exposing it. So next I want you to go to Mulaney's other clip where she actually talks about Kathleen
Yeah,
Bennett.
not too long ago.
It wasn't too
And
long
yes,
ago.
this Kathleen Bennett, all of you people that's on my feed right now with Kathleen Bennett, you people need to leave me alone. And I'm asking you for anything to do with Kathleen Bennett. Well, this is a whole situation. We're talking about my daughter being basically kidnapped, raped, beaten, and I'm getting attacked with this whole Kathleen Bennett. This is a whole separate issue. The whole Kathleen Bennett, I don't have too much to do with that. I haven't heard anything. Nobody's come to my attention about anything with Kathleen Bennett. So I'm in the dark about what's going on. If she's still in jail, then yeah, maybe you guys really need to take a look at that, because for Kathleen Bennett to be in jail since January, whatever, that's kind of disheartening. Either she has a faulty lawyer, or Morton County's not doing what they're supposed to do, or I don't know. I'm not the one with the gavel and sentencing anybody or doing anything like that. So I'd ask any of you that are attacking me and utilizing Kathleen Bennett's situation and utilizing it while we're here talking about my daughter and trying to find my daughter. It is time for us women to stand up.
Yeah, right.
Get out of here, Mulaney.
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible. Horrible,
Yeah.
horrible liar. And she's heard nothing. She's going to end up on a witness list testifying. She's all over the prosecution.
These people are such horrible liars, it would behoove the prosecution to just drop the charges so that the competent lawyer, which she now has, doesn't go in there and make a mockery of them and everything that they've done. But we will continue to expose them. Hopefully, maybe we can even get people in the leadership of these veterans groups that should be held accountable for their involvement on the stand as well, so that they can be brought to account for their involvement. But we've walked you through the people that were in the Veterans Stand group, the Veterans Respond group, and now we're going to show you the Veterans.org or Veterans Service Corps, Veterans Service Corps group. The Veterans Service Corps, here's their website, and it says, to combat oppression through community service programs focused on unity, empowerment, and education, leverage veteran volunteers and the experience gained through their shared military service, honor our oath to protect our citizens against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Even if that's other veterans, or so-called veterans, or people impersonating marshals, even against people on your own security team working to incriminate an innocent elder woman and her mother? Are you willing to do it even then? Because that's what it's going to take. I'm not saying that all the veterans that were out there are complicit. I'm saying they were infiltrated. I'm saying there was a lot of the people involved in this case that are closely connected to that leadership, and the leadership did precious little to address that, to distance themselves from it, to call it out, or to demand any change, and I will be bringing you more about that very soon. I forgot, once again, damn it.
What'd you forget?
The texts that I have with Sadaf, where I told her after that interview that I did with her that L'Oreal was still scamming people for money. And I'm like, still don't feel like you have any fiduciary responsibility to mitigate your damages and tell people you're not associated with her.
That's right.
She's still trying to get money from people. And I think that it kind of lit a fire under her because she went on her social media pages and said, L'Oreal Blackshaw has nothing to do with Veterans Stand anymore. But that should have been made by Michael Wood Jr. in a public statement. This was such a huge thing, and what has happened to this family is so huge. They should have publicly denounced both her and Bill Runningfisher, like I told y'all to do way back in February, which you didn't do. So now you got some cleaning up to do. You got some splaining to do, Sadaf, and I will show you that email in another show. But now I'm going to show you some other emails I got from the CFO of Operations Officer. Yes. And this is the CFO. The CO, the Chief Operations Officer, COO, the coup. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Here is Mr. Brandon Boucher, or Boucher. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Hello, Cindy. My name is Brandon. I'm the Operations Chief and Intelligence Liaison for Veterans Stand. Very clear here. It's not Veterans Respond. It is Veterans Stand. I just heard that your show did an amazing job on the Runningfisher interview, and I was wondering if I could get a copy of that original interview. I'm seeing if there is some information that I can pass off to some of the legal team and my own sources to start vetting some of his responses. Thank you, Brandon. So, a legal team, like you were going to take legal action as of January 10th of 2017. And what have you done since then, Brendan? What have you done since then, Michael A. Wood Jr. and your legal team? You haven't even done an audit. What have you done to vet anybody involved with any of these groups before or since then? I haven't seen any evidence of it, and if you made this statement to me, why didn't you make a public one disavowing L'Oreal Blackshaw, Bill Runningfisher, and the fact that you never vetted people, and start doing that? Start vetting them if you're going to associate with them. I think that you choose who you choose to be with.
Yep, exactly.
It's a choice. Now, and you've been told. It's not like you weren't told. You've been told by now. You've known for a long time. Here's the second email he sent me. This one on the 30th of January. And he says, hello, Cindy. My name is Brandon Boucher. I'm the ops chief for Veterans Stand. Very clear. And also the investigative liaison. They had such important titles for a loosely affiliated group of veterans that had no hierarchy or command.
Exactly.
See how they're full of crap? You cannot misrepresent yourself to be one thing and then do another. Like, you know, it's not going to work. And then he says, I'm trying to track down a copy of one of the receipts that were in the Bill Runningfisher and L'Oreal Blackshaw interviews. There was a receipt for 3 Arctic shelters. Can you forward me copies of them? This is for a legal matter. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Once again, mentions in each of those emails to me, somebody that's been investigating this case, that they're doing a legal investigation. That he's investigating. 2, he's passing this off to the legal team. Twice.
Yep.
Right? Nothing happened since then. No follow-up whatsoever.
5 months
no
ago.
Transparency. 5 months have passed. So, here's his Facebook page. This is what Brandon Boucher looks like. And here are some of his friends. He tagged them. Oh, look, Holyoke Lafferty. The person that was promoting Mulaney Stoneman at the closure of the camps. What is this craziness? Many, many others. This is my friend and colleague Jordan, who helped initiate me into the 3,000-year-old lineage of Kong Solomon that was brought together from ancient Hermetic teachings far older. This rings very true to me, and I hope it does to you as well. Okay. Wow, is he the brains of the operation over there at Veterans Stand? Holy Jesus. What's the next one? Here's another post from May 6th, where he's sharing Brian Churchill's post. And he says, I want you to go down to Brian Churchill's post first. So just scroll up.
Up here?
No, you were at the post already. Just scroll up. Move it up. Brian Churchill posted from Eagle Butte, South Dakota on May 4th, the core group that has been doing the work for Veterans Stand has broken away. Nice of them to tell us all the way in May, right?
Exactly.
And is now Veterans Service Corps. Please visit our site for more information. Michael Wood has refused to give us any of the money that we raised for Operation Eagle in Eagle Butte, South Dakota. More news on that front coming over the next few days. I didn't hear anything more about it.
Yeah.
There should still be roughly $200,000 left from what was raised, and I guess he must think he can just keep it for his own personal slush fund.
Wow.
Hashtag, where's the money, Michael?
Wow.
Now scroll up and we will see what Mr. Boucher said about this post. Because he was the COO of Veterans Stand, as
That's
you
right.
saw in that email. And then he says the money is the second fundraiser. The money in the second fundraiser was specifically for operations in the Dakotas after February 4th, when Michael Wood was told the ops team needed a partial audit from the December operation to build good faith with the people still on the ground. And why would they need to build good faith?
Yeah.
Because he took the money and ran?
Mm-hmm.
Because he stranded a bunch of people out there and didn't do
Yep.
right by them? Because he put L'Oreal Blackshaw and Bill Reddingfisher in charge?
Mm-hmm.
Is that perhaps why? And it says, December operation to build good faith with the people still on the ground and to finish our AAR. Michael said it would be unethical. Be careful. Be attention.
Mm-hmm.
It would be unethical to hire an auditor and that we should do it ourselves. What are you talking about, crazy? If it's true that Brandon Boucher is saying here that Michael Wood Jr. told him it would be unethical to hire an auditor and that the audit should be done by them, isn't that literally the wolf watching the hen's house?
It is. It is.
I mean, seriously, what? I don't understand. Why? Why would he even say something that redonkulous?
Yep.
You're going to audit yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Does he think, oh my God, he's reverting back into cop mode.
Mm-hmm.
They always investigate themselves and exonerate themselves.
Exactly.
It would be unethical for me to spend money to have somebody else do an independent audit. What? Okay. That guy needs a lesson in ethics. If this is all true, I don't know, though, because we don't know from Michael A. Wood Jr. whether or not what Brandon Boucher, his COO, is truly saying. But I would guess someone within his organization that was his COO might have grounds to say what he's saying here. And then it says, well, that hasn't gone anywhere, and now more money is being misappropriated for his own personal agenda.
Okay.
So he has been called out by a number of people for using the money, not for what it was requested for, but for his own personal gain. That would be fraud. Under color of law, under authority. So here's Michael Wood Jr. in pictures with David Andrews. Posted this picture on March 10th. And here's a picture of Anthony Diggs. Oh, look at that beanie he's wearing.
Are those the L'Oreal beanies?
That looks very much like the L'Oreal beanies. Water is life. And there's Michael A. Wood Jr. wearing his shield. It's still around his neck. I thought he was retired. Okay, next. Here's a series of photos in that group. I wanted you to be able to look at them And in the bottom left-hand corner, I believe that top picture is featuring Chris Dusing. I'm not sure, but I think it's him. And here in this next picture, you will see there's Sedef. There's Sedef.
Wow.
Buyakataman. So she's hanging out with Michael A. Wood Jr. as of March of this year.
Wow.
With Veterans Stand. Not Veterans Respond. Okay? And here is a post from Brandon saying it would be nice to get some questions answered about the 1.4 million, about 1.4 million of them. And this was in response to a post in Reddit that says, "We are Veterans Stand and civilian-led PD. We have partnered with Band's Warped Tour this summer to travel the country." Yikes.
Wow.
That is horrific to me. And he says he'd like to have some questions answered. Me too. And also, oh God. And here's the next post. Or was that the last one? Oh, no. Here's the last one. I think. Or maybe not. I don't know. This is from June 15th. Very, very recently. For that OP Eagle. OP Eagle Hawk update. Field update. Hawking. Hashtag no DAPO. Legal case. Water protectors. Whoopie law. And the impact of hashtags Tiger Swan. This is from Veterans Service Corps.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got Chris Dusing and Sedef.
Yep.
Okay? And here's another one posted by Brandon on May 29th. Okay? Keeping up?
Mm-hmm.
On Activate Now.
Yes.
With Mike Fassig and Aubrey Peckham and Ed Higgins. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, y'all are the ones swimming in the same waters. That ain't me. I'm just trying to put this together and understand how y'all are connected and why you've ignored the case of Kathleen Bennett. Why you didn't say jack squat about it until very recently. Why you didn't care to do anything about what happened to her and her mother. Including and all the way into Veterans Stand, Respond, and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to keep asking. I'm going to give you a teaser for our next show. That's about all I have for tonight. And I'm going to go and check out my computer and pray that it's still working. See if I can put it back together again. Oh, Lord. Pray with me, everybody. But here's a little teaser for our next show. This is Messages from Bill Running Fisher. He says, I would settle for making him, he's talking about Michael A. Wood Jr., which we will be bringing you a lot more of in the future. And he says, I would settle for making him, Michael A. Wood Jr., tell the truth for once. If the cause cannot stand truth in the light of day, we shouldn't be doing it, you know? I would love to see how much his board of directors is getting paid, and as well as himself, and how much he's taking in. Don't forget, he still has a bank account in Pennsylvania. And then he says in this other post, in this other message, the scapegoats and steal our property. Make us the scapegoats and steal our property. By the way, the sentence right before this, I have to tell you, is that Michael A. Wood Jr. used the Kathleen Bennett thing to make us the scapegoats and steal our property at the same time. Bill Running Fisher is alleging that when we started exposing all this Kathleen Bennett thing and its connections to Standing Rock's Veterans Stand and the people working for him, that Michael A. Wood Jr. decided to steal his equipment and not pay him. Okay? Let's be clear. And then he says, there is a reason he is not a police officer no more, and he's always caught up in defrauding people. And ask him about check number 762 on his personal bank account, written to us December 7th, 2016, for over $15,000. Billy's on his payroll, folks, and he has the receipts. And he's going to be sending receipts. So somebody better start talking. I would say y'all should get out in front of this Veteran Stand.
Yeah.
Michael Wood A. Wood Jr. Y'all should get out in front of this before it comes out. Funny, he says, he goes on this Bill Running Fisher. Funny, before he made millions on his vets for Standing Rock website, which, by the way, is still taking in money, he lived in Pennsylvania. Then, once he made the money, he split from Wes, Clark Jr., and took off with the money to L.A. Controversies followed him and his toadies everywhere. And again, he ain't doing this for a love or concern of the people. He does this to feed his ego and make lots and lots of money off people. And last but not least, I'm going to show you one of his financials. It is true, Billy knew what he was talking about. Check it out, folks. Here's from the bank account of Michael A. Wood Jr. and Jessica M. Wood. I took the address out of there, but they're in Shrewsbury, Pennsylvania. It's for real, folks. And this was on December 12, 2016. And look who the beneficiary is, folks. For $10,000 out of Michael A. Wood Jr. and Jessica M. Wood's account. It was for L'Oreal Black Shawl. There you go. His national spokesperson. And that, December 12th, was after he left. That December 12th was days before she invoiced all of these invoices to him and before they took Kathleen Bennett to that hospital. So there you have it, folks. Must be about the money. If you ask me, it must be the money. And that will bring us to the close of today's show on a Mexican Crossing Lines on here on 88.1 FM KPPPLP, Fargo Moorhead. And you wanted to tell people about the raffle one more time?
Don't forget about the raffle.
Do not.
kpppfm.com/raffle. Click on that and make a raffle entry for $10 to win the silver necklace that Cindy is wearing. And 100% of that money will go to the Kathleen Bennett's Defense Fund, to help pay for her legal expenses. So the raffle's going to end on Monday. So you have all weekend to make bids, so please do.
I want you not only to make bids, I want you to take the time. It's $10, guys. I mean, seriously, it's nothing for you to give a couple of times on each of these raffles because this money is going to unite her with her family again and to have all of these bogus charges against her. We've shown you these are bogus charges. We're going to have these charges dropped, or we're going to fight in court so that she can be free and go back to her family. And this is a very worthwhile cause. Not to mention the fact that you get to earn this beautiful eagle feather necklace. We have them in gold tone and silver tone. There are only 17 of them left.
Yep, exactly.
There are only 17 of them left. There's a limited number of these eagle feather necklaces made by native artist Cheyenne Running Wolf. I ask that you give generously. Dig deep into your pockets, dig deep into your hearts, and help us reunite this family. Look at what they have been up against, what they have been through. Everybody had the ability to say and raise money for free Red Fawn, but people forgot about Kathleen Bennett.
Yeah.
People left her your mother to die in a hospital and her to rot in a jail. So we have to take every opportunity that we can to share this. So I ask you not only to donate, put this on other people's pages, put this on other people's hearts. Go around to your friends and say, I'm trying to raise money for an innocent water protector whose mother was nearly killed and who is still facing 20 years in prison. You may not have heard about her. Her name is Kathleen Bennett. Can you spare $5? Can you spare 10? Whatever. You guys can go in on it together.
Yeah, exactly.
Do a pool and do a bunch of entries together as a group at your work, at where you go to school with your friends. Come on, let's try and rally some money for Kathleen Bennett's Defense Fund. You have until Monday at noon. And please join us again for a Mexican Crossing Lines. I will be trying to remind you. I hope you post this everywhere. Share the hashtag Free Kathleen Bennett. And remember, Minnie Wachoni, water is life.